originally it has been done with composite veneers back in the days. But now, since the ceramic veneers have been improved more and more, nowadays we are more leaning towards ceramic veneers because they're more durable, they're stronger, and also better characteristics. In terms of, we can mimic the nature of the teeth in terms of translucency and also the textures.
Right. So that's the benefit of veneers. So who would you say would be a great candidate for people who wants to get veneers?
So since veneers are considered cosmetic dentistry, so the candidates for veneers that are for patients that are seeking for better smile, to improve their smile. And mainly the candidates are pretty much discoloration, like you said, irregular shapes also, and also gaps in spacing. Sometimes it can be closed with veneers, as well as minor malposition of the teeth.
Right. And what are the treatment steps for veneers?
So I think most important part of the treatment is to get the good design for the patient's smile. So in order to do that, we have to talk through with the patient of what are the expectations of the patient, as well as the personalities, as well as the professions of the patient.
Right.
So to design the smile for the patient to fit the expectation of the patients. Mainly, we use digital smile design using, digital photos. We can do a simulation picture of the patient after, for example, more like a simulation pictures of the after treatment, even before the patient getting the treatment.
Oh, wow.
Like a Photoshop, something like that.
Right.
So doctor and the patient can get the better understanding of the final result that the patient, that the doctor will give the treatment to the patient, and the patient would want to see the result. For example, that the patient, that the doctor can deliver to them, so they can get a better picture before deciding to go for the porcelain veneers or not.
So, if I were to make this simple, it's almost like you walk in and about to get a nose job, and you bring in a sample of someone with the nose that you want. So basically bring in the sample of the smile that you want to you, and then you will regenerate it with computer to see what it looks like on you.
Only that we use your photo and generate that result somewhat close to what we can deliver to the patient. To get the better communication, for example, you want DJ Carla, you want whiter teeth, and how white we're talking about. My white and your white probably different.
Right.
So we get this photo to kind of get on the same page that, hey, this is the white that we could deliver, and this is the white that you would want. And once we get the design that we want, I would use that design to kind of transfer into the final veneers. So the procedure of the treatment would be starting with preparing the teeth, and then measure out the teeth with a scanner, and then give you the temporary while we make the final veneers in the lab. So that should require about 7 to 10 days.
Right.
During that time, you will be on temporaries for 7 to 10 days, and then after that, you come back and we install the final veneers.
Right.
So that's pretty much the steps of how we do the veneers.
Okay, so I see in Bangkok Hospital, not only that you guys do veneers, you guys also do dental implants, which I know that you guys have the service because my dad goes to Bangkok Hospital for the dental implant. So what's the benefit?
Yes?
What's the benefit of dental implants?
So obviously, dental implants is for replacing the missing tooth. If unfortunately you have your teeth or your tooth have been lost due to decay or gum problems or trauma or something like that, you're going to end up with not having tooth in the specific area. And dental implant is designed to replace those missing teeth. So basically it's like like the picture just showed, is an artificial tooth screwed on an implant that will be placed inside the bone.
So in Thai we would call that รากฟันเทียม
รากฟันเทียม
Right. And with this process, because both my mom and my dad has done dental implants, why does it take longer than the usual process of other dental services? Like, I feel like she has to come back multiple times to get dental implants.
Okay, so I will give you two scenarios. The first scenario is that the tooth has been lost for a long time. You don't have any tooth in that area, right? So the doctor will do a thorough examination whether you're going to have enough bone or not, because like I said before, the implant will have to be placed into the bone, and then we'll have to get the stability of the implant inside the bone before we do the crown on the implant first. So that's why it's going to take too long, because we have to measure if the bone is enough or not. If you do have enough bone, we can go ahead and place the implant, but just the implant screw inside the bone first, and then we close the. This is why we have to wait, because we have to wait for the implant to integrate or to fuse to the bone.
Right.
At least 3 months before putting the crown on top of the implant to load and to function, because otherwise the implant will be wobbly. And that's not going to be good.
That is why. So that's why it's taking a bit of time for the dental implants.
For the second scenario, whether you haven't had the tooth extracted yet. So let's say the dentist sees that you have one tooth or multiple teeth that will have to be extracted due to so-and-so problems. Then we have to take out the teeth first. And then we have to wait about 3 months for the wound to heal. Because otherwise you will end up with a hole.
Right.
Okay, and then after the bone is healed, the bone is the hole, that hole is filled with the bone. 3 months after, we take the CT scan to measure the bone volume. And if it's ready, we can go ahead and place the implant, and then we wait another 3 months for the crown.
So the second scenario has one extra step than the first scenario.
But in modern dentistry, modern implant dentistry, there are ways to do what we call immediate implants. But that's very specific case. That wound will have to be free of infection, and then the doctor will have to examine whether you're a good candidate for immediate implant, meaning the doctor can go ahead and extract the tooth and place the implant simultaneously on the same appointment.
Okay. คุณหมอคะ I'd like to go back to the veneers. Some people find it so scary because photos that we see on social media, I feel that they take out so much teeth and they file so much teeth. Is that just something we see on the internet, or is that how they do veneers back in the days? You know how like
it's more like back in the days, and sometimes it's not because it's not properly done. Because we're gonna have to take out some degree of tooth structure, but over the years, we take less and less of the tooth structure because the advancement of the ceramic materials. Well, think of it as an artificial fingernails.
Like acrylics.
Acrylics, exactly. If you put on the nails without any filing, what is it going to end up with? So it's going to be a little bit bulgy, right?
Right.
So it's the same thing goes with veneers. If we don't take out some degree of the tooth structure, the veneers will appear very bulgy. So why we have to take out exactly of the thickness of the veneers that we plan, so that the result will not end up very bulgy. And we're talking about 0.3 to 0.5 millimeters thick of the surface. So like I said, it's very, very minimal.
So what we see on the internet where like they take out so much and your teeth just looks like a baby dinosaur teeth. That's
I think that's too much. And well, there are preparation of the teeth for veneers versus for the crown. Okay. The crown we take out quite a lot more compared to take out for the veneers. But that is for the crown or more for the more destroyed teeth. Whether for the veneers we only take out, you know, on the more healthier teeth. But for example, if the patient has the existing filling, we might have to take out more than the, you know, intact teeth, for example. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get it. I see the picture now when you said, oh, it's just like when you go get your nails done. It's acrylic. Yeah. What do? You file it out. It's the same concept. Now I see a bigger,
for certain case that we call additive case, meaning that the patient's teeth are more retracted or are more inside and they want to see more teeth. In those cases, we might not have to take out so much of the tooth structure even. We can just, you know, define the margins, take the scan and fabricate the veneers in place on them. So it depends on each individual cases.
So how long does veneer last?
Well, if they're properly done and we check the bites and we check the proper bites, make sure there's nothing like hitting too much. And the patients are more careful not to crack the crabs, for example, stay away from ice and almonds or something like that. We aim for more than 10, 15, 20 years. There have been studies that veneers are lasting more than 20, 22 years.
Wow.
That's how long that we keep tracks on the studies nowadays.
Wow, that's amazing. Doctor, we have questions from our listeners. Kun Sarinya Karu Santi. He said, I just did a dental crown, but I don't feel confident with the result much. The color of my dental crown tooth looks different from adjacent real teeth. The color looks yellowish, and the dentist gave the reason that he will give more proportion of the material to make it stronger as its positioning for chewing. Should I consider rework again to fix it?
Well, there's a lot of factors involving in doing a crown on the veneers. There are adjacent teeth, there are the color of the original teeth inside the veneers and the crown, and also the materials that we use. Thankfully, for the modern dentistry, we have a variety of more beautiful and stronger ceramics that we can choose from. So if you're not satisfied with the result, you can schedule in and come in for a consultation and see. We might be able to do, you know, in a different ways.
So basically just come in for consultation first.
Yes, because we'll have to see, you know, what are the real problems, what are the main concerns of the patient, and what are the steps that we could probably improve with helping to get a better results.
All right, another question from our listeners. Kun Ja Ui. She said, I also did dental implant in Bangkok Hospital and is so impressed with the result. But my question is that when we do veneers, whether we need to do all teeth, including the implant tooth?
Well, it depends. A lot of things are, you know, depends. So we'll have to see whether it is necessary to do the whole, you know, visible teeth. Certain patients, they only require 1 or 2 veneers, and that can end up with a very satisfying result. The most important thing is that how many teeth that are necessary. If the implant is already good and matching the color with the adjacent teeth, and you know she has only 1 or 2 the teeth that are problems, then we could probably end up with 1 or 2.
Oh, so
it totally depends.
Oh, so it's not necessary. So basically, we just come in for consultation first of what you want and what we can do.
I've done 1 veneer, I've done 8 veneers, I've done 20
Oh.
veneers. It really depends on each individual.
Right. Okay. So, what would you say? How would we take care our teeth after we got veneers or dental crown?
Veneers on the crown, right?
Yeah.
If they're properly done, they're supposed to be like any other of your natural teeth. So you take good care of them, you brush your teeth 2 or 3 times a day, use dental floss, avoid the hard stuff that I've been, that I've mentioned before, or some bad habits like chewing on pens, cracking stuff with their teeth. As long as they avoid that, I think just another regular teeth in your mouth.
So, would you say that if you go to a place that is maybe cheaper, not legit, sometimes the glue doesn't glue onto the teeth properly, and food might get inside, and that might cause cavity? Could that be the case?
They might constantly break, like you said, if the glue is not properly glued, if it's not properly done, if the material is not great, then there are a lot of steps that can go wrong. So you have to make sure that you're confident in the doctor in that place, because it's your teeth that we're talking about. You don't want to jeopardize your teeth on something that is not properly researched, or something like that.
So would you say that let's say if I go get veneers and let's say it turned out I'm not really happy with it, is it possible to remove it right away and then redo them?
That's a very great question, DJ Carla. We have ways and steps before cementing the final veneers onto your teeth. We have the verifying steps before getting to the point of no return.
Oh.
For example, ways to make sure, like for example, one of the ways that the smile design, the simulated photos, that's one step.
Mm-hmm.
And we have the way to do a mock-up on your real teeth and have you smile.
Right.
Like a test run, more like a tryout to see, this is how and things that I designed it for you.
Mm-hmm.
And place on the teeth first and see how you like them.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't, we can always change the color, always change the shapes and something like that. And if we both happy with the mock-up,
right.
I go ahead and transfer that to the final veneers. And before placing the permanent glue, I put on we call try-in glue.
Okay.
On the veneers, and then I also have you take another look in the mirror.
A last fitting.
Exactly. And I even take photos and put on the computer or on the iPad for you to see a bigger picture, in various angles to make sure that this is what we both want.
Right. คุณหมอคะ and another thing I would like to ask is that over time, of course, there's going to be the color will change, right? In that case, do we go get our teeth whitened or do we redo it?
I would have to say the ceramic veneers, they would not change color. What will change is your underneath tooth structure.
Mm-hmm.
If we go for the more translucent veneers and place on your more or less yellowish tooth,
mm-hmm.
your original teeth the color will show out. Okay, but give you the very natural looking character of the veneers. If that happens, we could probably, if the teeth get darkened or yet more yellowish, we could probably do whitening from the inside.
From the inside.
That could brighten up a little bit, but not so much. I think the final color will depend mostly on the veneers.
On the veneers that you chose yourself too, whether it's like a little bit transparent or not.
Rest assured, the ceramic veneers will not change color, whereas the composite veneers, they stain, they pick up colors.